I don't have a quip for this one, just to say that customs is an actually important part of the border security service at the airport, so, yeah, don't hassle them.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got. Welcome to the special Reboot edition of Charmed Chats with Kendra.
And Kat.
Unlike TSA, customs is important.
Yeah, TSA thinks they're important.
Yeah, they almost didn't exist before 2001. Yeah. And ICE didn't exist until 2003, so.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about ICE.
No.
Because we want to be in a good
We're giving
mood.
them the cold shoulder.
Yes, we want to be in a good mood. Let's get to that summary.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah, we shall. This is episode 18, The Replacement. Galvin is trudging through a swamp as a deep, creepy voice leads him to a glowing stone in the head of a statue. As he takes it, a shadow looms. Galvin runs. Mel is magically pulled from bed. She, Macy, and Maggie run for the book in the attic, which is immolated as they reach it and cannot be put out. The door slams and a woman in black proclaims herself to be unimpressed. This, it seems, is Tessa, their new white lighter. She is decidedly more hands-on, no-holds-barred type of teacher. The next morning, the girls all commiserate under an anti-surveillance spell. Macy hears from Galvin, and Maggie hears from the university bursar about owing them $30,000. Nico corners Mel at work to find that Mel is no longer in the Sarkana, but Mel will, apparently, be working Nico and Greta's bachelorette party. Awkward. Galvin arrives smelly and tired, but otherwise okay. At least until a customs agent comes crashing through the ceiling into a coffee table. And the agent is mummified to boot? Tessa arrives just as Macy spirits Galvin into a closet. She sends the girls on a hunt for a vampire, then leaves. Galvin wonders if an artifact he brought back might be involved. Macy and Mel give the items to Mama Roz for diagnosis. While watching the corpse for possible reanimation, Maggie looks for scholarship opportunities. She begins hearing strange noises and voices, which she follows to the attic. The second she calls Tessa, they stop. Tessa thinks this is Maggie's powers expanding. Macy tells Galvin about her change of heart. He is fantastically supportive. The girls discuss things before bed, and Maggie talks to Macy about her new ethnic identity. She is feeling uneasy about claiming certain scholarship opportunities. Mama Roz is killed by some kind of demon inhabiting Galvin. At a Black Student Union meeting, Maggie hears the noises again. Nico and Greta's bachelorette party is the dopest thing I have ever seen. Maggie crashes it to yank Mel out. They decide to go check in on Mama Roz, which Nico overhears. They find her, dead, mere moments before Tessa. At the new White Lighter's behest, Maggie tries to read Mama Roz's soul. She's told of a dagger, a lost soul, and a threshold. Using the doorway to contact the lost soul, she hears Galvin. At dinner, Demon Galvin tries to coax Macy upstairs. His own impatience busts him, and Macy runs. Mel learns that the Akibu prefer to inhabit the bodies of dead children, which apparently makes Macy ideal prey. Maggie finds the dagger, and Tessa teleports them home. Abiku. I've been saying that wrong. Fuck. They follow Macy and the Abiku into the woods. Macy, reluctant to stab Galvin, decides to oust the parasite Abiku by stopping his heart with intent to resuscitate later. Tessa tries to intercede, but Maggie traps her in the astral plane. Macy's plan works, and Galvin's soul is able to re-inhabit his body. However, Macy herself is snatched by the Abiku. The house, when Tessa and the girls return, is protected by a Yoruba's only barrier. Tessa uses Mama Roz's dagger to cut a hole through which they enter. In the attic, the girls struggle to fend off the invisible Abiku, which is soundly kicking their butts. Maggie has Macy throw her the fire extinguisher, and they sort of freeze-dry it before vanquishing it with the dagger. Tessa is not happy about Galvin knowing about magic, but she agrees to let the girls handle their own personal lives. she disposes of the customs agent. Macy, once again, has to tell Galvin that she doesn't want to be cured. Actual Galvin does not approve and wants to never be involved with magic again. They are clearly not going to work out.
So sad.
Mel and Maggie console Macy the next morning. Maggie tells her that while she's not going to apply for any black scholarships, she will definitely be visiting the Black Student Union again. Nico calls Mel to the tattoo parlor, demanding answers. Mel reveals that she is a witch, then sends Nico away. She enters the Sarkana Sanctum to discover a bloodbath. Jada, sole survivor, tells her that Fiona is responsible and that she still has Harry. Mel finds his pin, and she and her sisters vow to use the Elder's tricks against them to find Harry. The end.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun.
Yeah, this was definitely an interesting episode. Definitely an interesting episode.
Yeah.
I liked at the very beginning, like, the Tomb Raider Indiana Jones vibe that was happening.
A little bit.
And then the logo coming up, like, covered in moss.
Yeah.
That was super cool looking. I was confused as to why Mel thought that a normal fire extinguisher would put out supernatural flame. But
I don't know, maybe...
I don't know.
You know, maybe she just thought it was a normal fire started magically?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I could see that. I already don't like Tessa, but I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah. Maggie's first assessment of her was like evil Anne Hathaway or something.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really apropos because she did give me very Devil Wears Prada vibes.
Yeah, a little bit. Like,
and she does look a little bit like Anne Hathaway. Just a touch.
I think it's mostly because of like the really flat, like
dark hair,
straight hair. Yeah,
no, it's also the like shape of her face, and I think it's her vocal affect a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit.
She doesn't look a lot like her, but
when they called her Anne Hathaway, I was like, hey, what did Anne Hathaway ever do to you? And then they come back with Regina George. I was like, yes, much better.
That's just difficult for me to see because of the hair color. I don't know why.
Yeah, but it was very Mean Girls. Like,
yeah, and it was definitely a little bit of Natalie.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. It's kind of like, you know, you had the lax white lighter, and then this new one comes in and they're a complete ball buster. Like,
which is funny that they would say that Harry was lax because he really wasn't right up at the beginning.
No, he wasn't. But then he got to know the girls and realized that they're not stupid.
Yeah.
And that, you know, thinking outside the box has been helpful. So I like the fact that Tessa, like, okay, so here's my thought on Tessa. Whether she sticks around or she doesn't stick around, I hope that she realizes that the girls thinking outside the box is a good thing. Yeah. And, like, I hope that kind of opens up the dynamic for the elders to be like, okay, we'll give you a little more leeway. Yeah, you're the charmed ones. You're all-powerful, whatever.
We can't afford to lose you, so we might as well work with you.
Yeah, exactly. I did like the little bit of foreshadowing where Tessa's like, you should really be memorizing these spells, blah, blah, blah. And then it comes back to, like, bite her in the butt. Like, oh, yeah, I memorized this spell. Guess what? I'm using it on you.
When Maggie was reading it aloud,
I totally thought something was going to happen. Yeah. I totally thought something was going to happen.
And just the framing of that shot made me think, oh, yeah, like, the corpse is totally going to animate while she's fucking reading the book. But I kind of like that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I like that the corpse didn't do anything, but I totally thought that, like, something was going to happen, and when it didn't, I went, oh, that corpse is completely dead because it doesn't have breaths.
It really went against, like, just, like, seeing the shot framed in the way that it was with, like, I don't know, the music, and then it not happening, that really went against custom.
Yeah, I like that sometimes this show... Yes, I got the joke. I was ignoring the joke.
You can't ignore the joke. I must see you groan.
I like that it went against type, and then it tried to subvert itself. And I like that it did that because there's a lot of shows that have become very formulaic, and even this show in some respects becomes formulaic in the she's told to memorize spells. So we know that'll come back by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's more of like a Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
That's
but, like,
just like,
you know,
that's just
Galvin-
fulfilling the promise you made at the top.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, is they've become formulaic in that, you know, you start out with something and then you bring it back at the end.
Well, yeah.
You know,
And
Galvin being so perfectly like, yes, absolutely. If you don't want to do this, we don't have to do this. At the beginning, I was like, oh, he's going to change his mind by the end of this, right? He's got to. Mm-hmm. And then he did. It was like,
well, it turns out he didn't even...
Right, because it was just
that wasn't even
the
his
demon
decision.
that was yeah, like there's a whole bunch of things there.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of successful television is just varying the time constraints on when certain promises get fulfilled. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you make a whole bunch at the top of the episode and they're all done by the end of the episode, that is a very different type of show than, like, season long or, you know, periodic thingies. And to a certain extent, you have to have certain questions be answered by the end of the episode and certain other ones not be answered for at least a few.
Yeah, I just hope that, and this show has been very good about bringing something up in one episode, having it pay off in that episode, and then bringing it up again later in another episode. So I'm really hoping that them memorizing spells, or at least Maggie memorizing spells, is going to come back in another episode.
Yeah, speaking of things coming back, the discussion about Maggie's ethnic identity. I really loved the way that was handled, where she's just like, you know, oh, I have to make this form. I have to, like, fill out this form, and I get to click a button that I never had to click before. And, oh, look, all of these scholarships are for black kids, and all of these pictures don't look like me.
Yeah.
And then she talks with Macy, and Macy's like, you know, supportive, but also like, this isn't my decision.
Yeah,
it's not
so
up
you
to
have
me.
to figure this out for yourself.
And Macy did also grow up with, like, an entire culture that she didn't have access to, because her dad's black and she knows she's half Latina and doesn't get to talk about that.
Right. I also loved the fact that Maggie searched for scholarships because she's like, well, now I have all this stuff. And as soon as she comes up, like, oh, I'm special. That was super cute. I love that little moment. Special. She clicks on it and they're all for the black kids. And she's like, what determines blackness as a search? And I'm like, that's got to be one of the silliest things I've ever seen her do.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man. But I do like that this message with the capital M has been put forth in this version of events. Of, like, you know, okay, I'm half Latina, I'm half black.
And I've just
found this out. How do I cope with this? Mm-hmm. And it's not coming into a place of, like, well, all right, now I'm going to start acting black. Like, no, that's not where they went with it. And that makes me very happy.
I'm worried that they might still go that direction.
I am worried a little bit, but I'm hoping that they don't, because they seem to be pretty smart about it. But I love the fact that...
And to be fair, Macy, like, she's very much her own person, and her blackness is part of her, but it's not, like, something she actively, like, brings up a lot.
Yeah, and she's not, like,
and I think she had
a stereotype of a black person either.
Well,
she's a
no, because she had a bit, like, episodes ago where she was talking about how a bunch of other kids thought she wasn't black enough.
Yeah,
right. So
yeah, but that's my point. Is she didn't, even Macy in that moment didn't become a stereotype of a black kid. Mm-hmm. And I like that. Like, she's like, no, this is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. And I just happen to be, you know, this ethnic group as well. But I love that. I absolutely love that Maggie went to the BSU and she was the only one who wasn't black, like, looking.
Yeah.
In the entire room. She starts freaking out, and one kid, and it was a boy, who's like, are you okay? And got up to check on her. And I was just like, okay, how real is that? I mean, seriously. Like, the girl sitting next to her, like, leaned away from her, like, what the fuck is happening? And a boy from the other side of the table stood up and was like, are you okay? And my only thought in that was just like, that would not happen. They would all either freak out or they'd all be like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, not one... Thank you, Blue. Like, not one person from the other side of the room, and not a boy. I'm sorry, I just don't think that would happen. I just don't. But maybe that's my thought process. Just for men in general.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what his home life is like.
This is true.
Maybe his sisters.
This is true. We don't know anything about them. I hope we learn more about them.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm glad that she's like, yeah, I'm not going to take any of the scholarships, which I'm actually kind of happy about.
Yeah.
Because that did come up with the, like, I just found out I'm black. Cool, I'm going to exploit this and take all the scholarships I can. Like, that's not who she is, though.
I mean, okay, my question is, so there was the whole joke about, teachers' kids really do get to go for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if your parent
Died.
dies
Yeah.
while you're enrolled.
Yeah, you'd think that she was still faculty kid, like,
I get that it happened right at the beginning of her freshman year, but, like, shouldn't it at least carry through also 30 grand at the beginning of the year?
yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
They never make you pay the entire tuition at once. I cannot imagine a university where it's 30 grand a semester.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do the whole college thing.
Mine was 20 grand a semester, and, like, everyone had some kind of scholarship. All of the kids who were from, like, Indianapolis public schools got to go for free tuition already. Mm-hmm. They might have had to pay for board, but room and board, but they didn't have to pay for, like, the classes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, commuter students got a heavy discount.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like I said, I didn't do the whole college thing. I went to a couple of semesters of community college because I wanted to take a couple of classes.
Yeah.
But school and I didn't really get along, so
yeah.
I didn't do the whole college thing. But yeah, there are a couple of things in this episode that I was confused by college-wise, just because it seemed, different from what I know. But
and just let's talk about this Abiku thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, at first blush, it does kind of look like a vampire, except they look mummified. So my thought was Chupacabra, but he wasn't in that part of the country, right. So why would that be the case? And then we fucking see it, and it's the fingers, not the teeth.
Yeah.
Which was fucking fascinating.
That was really cool.
And did you see at the end of the episode when Galvin walks out, he's got the bandages on all of his fingers.
Yeah, he's got bandages on his fingers because,
that was adorable.
That's
I loved
it. I loved the fact that he comes into the house. Okay, so here this is the other thing where I was like, fucking Tessa, was she sends them a message by throwing this body into their living room.
Into their coffee table, and then tells them, and you should get a new coffee table. Bitch, you broke it.
Uh-huh. Like, I'm sorry, what now? First of all...
You broke it, you fix it. Fucking Leo could heal shirts, you can heal a coffee table.
But it's like, first of all, you flung a corpse into my living room without checking with us first to make sure there was no humans in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't trust Tessa. And this is, like, legit. Like, I don't trust any of the elders. I don't trust any of the White Lighters. I just don't, because they have yet to give me a reason to trust them.
Yeah.
And, like, Macy flinging Galvin into a side room. At least he was smart enough to be quiet while he was in there.
Yeah.
But, like, and I do love the fact that they covered over the, she walks in, she's like, why did you do a privacy spell? Which she could, like, fucking smell it or something?
Yeah, the candle must let off a particular odor.
Yeah. And they're like, well, when we want to talk about how to vanquish the source, we put that up there. Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, okay, that was good cover. That was very good cover.
And she's like, that's actually smart. Way to neg us.
I know, right? I was like, listen, bitch. You've been here for 3 minutes. Uh-huh. Fuck you. And then, speaking of demon stuff without a privacy candle, Mel and Maggie inside the haunt.
Yeah.
Behind
I almost called it Quake.
Oh, God. Oh, memories.
And then for some reason, my second instinct was the bronze.
Oh, Jesus.
Which isn't even either show.
Nope. That's Buffy, isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. That's all right. My brain went to Kindred the Embrace, and I wanted to call it the Haven.
I mean, that's at least closer to the name of it.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So they're behind this, like, screen, but it isn't even, like, a screen. It's just milled woodwork.
Yeah.
that's covering a thing, and they're talking about demons and ghosts and whatever. And Nico overhears, dun dun dun, but Greta doesn't, dun dun dun.
I think Greta was talking at the time, and you woke up the dog.
I'm sorry. But, like, I have this thought. And
Just the one?
Just the one. I have this thought that I really hope that Nico and Greta stay together.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that they don't try to get Nico and Mel back together.
Yeah,
I
same.
am perfectly fine with Nico being their Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, learning about magic and knowing what's going on and being able to help them and not having a relationship in any romantic sense with the girls.
Okay, putting a pin in the Nico being Daryl. I would like to go back to Greta.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see Nico at the bachelorette party and she's like trying to commiserate with Mel and be like, I've had a breakup and then went to a wedding the next day. I get that this can be rough. And then Greta like clinks a glass or something and then like says Nico and does this move. And I'm just like, I have never seen a more confident lesbian in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost like, I don't know if this is social conditioning or what, but it comes off to me as just the height of arrogance. Because also it was something about her posture and the way she was standing and the way she like beckoned, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this dynamic?
Yeah, the dynamic between Nico and Greta is a little weird.
But we don't see
but we don't
much
see
any of it.
anything.
We just
Yeah.
see an extremely confident lesbian who says maybe like 2 words in a scene and then goes off and does her own shit.
Yeah. And it's really funny, like, I still just the visual of Greta and the mind visual that I had of what Greta would look like still completely just, they do not mesh at all in my head. Because when you think of the name Greta, you think of a certain visual. And then this, tiny skinny woman appears and you're like, you are not a Greta. What the fuck? Okay, fine. But like, I enjoy them as a couple.
She's the lesbian. It's like the text. It's the original.
Sure.
The one off of which all others are modeled.
Oh man. I enjoy Greta and Nico as a couple because it keeps Nico and Mel apart. And I like the fact of, because like in the original show they had Daryl who's married and whatever. And so he doesn't have any relationship with them. Because it kind of makes Galvin their Andy. That's what
I was putting a pin in. Because at the end of the episode, Galvin's like, I can't do this. And like they both love each other. And I'm just like, oh, this is very Andy and Prue of them.
Yeah. And so it makes me worried a little bit for Galvin.
Yeah.
That they're going to kill him off by the end of the season. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
But it makes me worried just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they are kind of paralleling a little bit of the original. And can I say, because of the parallels of the original, I went, Threshold. She's in a doorway. Where are the trolls?
Yeah.
Where are the trolls?
Yeah.
Because tween places. That's where my brain went. I do, again, speaking of the formulaic a little bit, they have the fire extinguisher at the beginning, which is left in the attic so they can use it later. Like,
that was good foreshadowing.
Yeah, that was really nicely done.
Like setting it up that you just have it in there.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you should have a fire extinguisher in every major room of your house.
You really should, at least on every floor.
And definitely have a kitchen specific one in your kitchen.
Yes.
And those expire, guys.
Yes.
Just so you know, I've had to do this fire safety thing every year at work, and every time they're like, make sure your kitchen extinguisher isn't expired. And I'm just like, that shit expires? Yes, it's like sunscreen.
Yep.
That expires too.
Yep. So does makeup.
Yeah, but like some of that shit is dry and you can ignore that.
You can for like things like eyeshadow and like powders and stuff, but like your lipsticks, your, primer, all like your moisturizers, all those, that expires because the older it gets, it will start to separate. It will become not good.
Mm-hmm.
Little things. I do like that they're going to try and use the elders against themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. And I also kind of enjoy that Jada lived through Fiona's attack of the Sarkana because she's part white later, and it kind of...
At least that's what she says.
Yeah, that's what she says. But, like, it kind of made me think a little bit of, like, did she orb out, and that's how she, like, survived? Kind of like...
Maybe.
You know, spoilers if you haven't gotten to season 4 of the original.
Mm-hmm. I still love that her version of orbing looks kind of like something that happens at the beginning of a Thomas Sanders video. Like in the logo thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
The weird electrical bit.
Yeah, you're right. It does kind of.
Because the electricity adds this weird kind of outlining that almost looks animated as opposed to like CG. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Tessa's, it just looks like swirly bits into a like black hole thingy.
Yeah.
Looks like she's wormholing.
Yeah. But Jada saying that Fiona taking out the Sarkana is like the start of the prophecy to bring about the source of all evil.
What? Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, so wait. So you brought back Fiona because she was supposed to do something. And you didn't think that this thing was bringing about the source of all evil. So what did you think she was going to be doing?
What did they call her before?
The keeper of...
The keeper.
Something.
Yeah. Some shit.
And like, okay, so here's my question. And this is where like my I don't trust the elders, but maybe we should kind of thought process comes in.
Yeah.
The elders put Fiona into Tartarus. Maybe it was because she was trying to bring about the source of all evil. Just a thought. You know, maybe that's what happened.
Maybe.
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 Don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Jumping back, when they were vanquishing the Abiku, thank you. I loved the girls acting with nothing.
Yeah.
They were doing a very, very good job of acting with nothing. Mm-hmm. And the Vanquish CG was so cool.
Yeah. I
think that's the coolest Vanquish we've had so far.
Yeah, that was interesting because it kind of broke apart.
It was like okay, so a fire extinguisher.
It kind of broke apart like in Terminator with the liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like a fire extinguisher is not liquid nitrogen.
No, it's not even that cold. It's cold. I'll grant you.
Yeah, and it basically just takes all of the oxygen out of that area, which is why it can extinguish a fire because a fire needs oxygen, and so it's not really freezing things, it's just sucking the oxygen out, which is why you should not do a fire extinguisher in a very tiny room unless your mouth is covered or you have a rebreather, because it will suck the oxygen out of you. Little things, tiny tips that I have learned in my life. Don't ask why. But yeah, so I like the fact that they throw the fire extinguisher or use the fire extinguisher on the Abiku so that they can see where it is long enough to stab it.
Yeah.
It's basically what they were doing.
Yeah, it was essentially a little bit that one episode with the guy who responds to cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit. It's like just enough to make it so that you can actually see what you're attacking. And I love that the dagger kind of looked like ice.
Yeah.
It was like a crystal glass dagger typey thing. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, it was a 3-pronged plexiglass, 3-bladed plexiglass knife. Yeah. It almost, when she first pulled it out, I could, because it's see-through, so it almost looked like it was literally just wires forming a triangular pyramid. And that looked really cool.
Yeah.
Which also would have been cool, but it would have been just like a really pointy whisk.
Yes. Would have been a pointy whisk. Now that's a visual.
Mm-hmm. Like an apple core. Just twist and pull.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I like the fact that they basically froze it in place, even though that's not what an extinguisher would do. But they lit it up with CO2, were able to stab it, and then it kind of just exploded a little bit and then broke into pieces and melted away. Mm-hmm. And it just looked so cool.
That was nice.
Like, it was by far one of the coolest Vanquishes that we've had, and I enjoyed it immensely.
And it cleaned up after itself. I love when that happens.
Yeah. No messy cleanup.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Buffy when they would kill a demon or kill a vampire off screen.
Yeah.
And it would just poof into ash and then fall off screen. It was like, yeah, that does.
Yeah.
They clean up after themselves.
Unless they get on your clothing and then you have to remember to blow, not brush.
Yes.
Was that in a Buffy episode, or am I remembering that from a fan fiction?
I do not know.
I don't even know.
I like that Tessa is up to speed on the fact that Galvin is Macy's human boyfriend.
Yes.
But not up to speed on the fact that he has a fucking clue that they're witches.
Yeah.
Like, she's got a little bit of the information, but not all of it.
So I guess Harry didn't mention it. Or did Harry know? I feel like he knew, right?
I think Harry knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he clearly didn't put that in his reports.
Yes.
Oh.
And I like that they're already having Maggie's power expand.
Yes. And, okay, this is kind of expanding differently from what it was doing before.
Yeah.
So she's getting double expansion.
Right. And part of me thinks that it might be because of the secret basement.
Mayhaps.
Because, like, it's expanding in a way that helps her be able to, you know, talk to souls of the dead, which is a little weird, but it's kind of cool. And if it comes back in a way that's beneficial, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Also, kudos to Mama Roz for being a coherent enough soul to be like, hey, bitch, here's what you need to do.
If anyone would be a coherent enough soul,
Yeah.
it would be Mama Roz.
It would be Mama Roz.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, Galvin was doing a good job. Like, for being floating around wherever the fuck.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
kudos to Galvin.
He was doing very good. I also really love the fact that we got to see Macy in horror film trope
Yeah.
running through the woods from a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, but black people running through the woods never ends well.
Well, only one of them died, and it was only for a second.
Yeah, I also kind of enjoy that in that moment where it was like, Tessa
We'll find another way.
Yeah, Tessa was still a bit like Charity in that killing them is the only way to do it. It's like, I can find you another boyfriend. In that moment, I was just like, oh, Tessa, sweetheart, no.
Oh, yeah, that was a bit rough. Like, how long has she been dead that she doesn't understand dating anymore?
Yeah, like, oh, man. But is it wrong that at the end of it, when Galvin was like, I can't do this, I love you, but I can't do this, and I was just
Tessa's
like, Tessa can find you another boyfriend. You know. And I do also kind of like that they're still having her kind of tap into the dark side, and she still needs her family to pull her back. And so it's like, I'm kind of wondering how they're going to do this, and I'm still trying to figure out the cure thing that Galvin found.
Yeah.
Can they use it on Parker?
Good question.
Because, like, legit, like, that's my biggest question there. Is like, are they going to try to use that on Parker? If Maggie doesn't, or if Macy doesn't want to use it, can they use it on Parker?
I guess the question then becomes, is it a one-shot?
Yes, that absolutely becomes the question.
Is it a single dose usage, or can it be done multiple times? Is there, like, an additional ingredient that you need to get that makes it all work? Or is it a completely disposable, one-use spell or thing? Ritual, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I suppose we'll find out. I mean, granted, Parker, as far as we know at this point, supposedly has his mom handling all of that.
Right.
We haven't been
brought back to that at all.
No. They just had to, like, go back to kind of square one. But she already has the solution in place, so she can work with that. Hopefully it is still working. We don't know.
Yeah,
but the reason he had to, of course, we remember the reason Galvin had to go find this shit was because Macy couldn't be helped by Dr. Julia. So
right.
So I mean, like, I don't know personally whether I would prefer her to get rid of it or not. Like, it is currently helping them, but will it become a liability later down the road? Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. And I hope...
Who can say where the road goes? Yes. Only time.
Great.
And now you thought I was over.
Now that song's going to be stuck in my head. Thanks so much.
And you're welcome.
Yeah, no, I I hope that they kind of let her get a grip on it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that Macy gets to take the demon side and like
Transform it. Yeah.
And turn it into something that's helpful.
Like a truck.
I hate you.
You said transform. Where am I going to go with that?
Oh, God.
You know.
Damn it, I hate you.
You hate yourself because you didn't stop yourself.
Oh, man.
And therefore could not stop me. You know I have no impulse control with puns.
I know. And I set you up. And I...
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
You're just enabling me at this point.
That's what they called me in college. Oh, wait. No, but I hope that they let her take the demonic side of her and channel it for good. And she can get enough control over it that she doesn't need her sisters to be like, okay, done now. Everything's good now.
Make a failsafe.
Yeah. Because having to have her family talk her down every time is going to get old fast.
Yeah.
And it's only going to cause more problems.
Yeah, and it's already happened, twice now?
Mm-hmm.
Although this time was a little easier.
Yeah. And so I kind of hope that the more she uses it, the more she can control it, as opposed to the don't use it because you might lose control.
Yeah.
As they say, practice makes perfect.
Practice makes habit.
Yes.
Practice the wrong shit, you will have the wrong habit.
It's true. It's very, very true. We on final thoughts, I think?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Again, I know you don't normally do the rating thing for this one. I would give this like an 8 out of 10. The last few have been an 8 out of 10. It makes me so mad that this show took so long to get good for me.
You need to stop. Like, you've said that the last 4 or 5 episodes.
I know. It's just every episode, like, is getting good. And it's like, it makes me want to keep watching. And I'm really sad that it took so long.
Mm-hmm. And we know this, which means you don't need to keep harping on that.
I know.
Especially since you can't play harp.
I cannot. At least not good, you know.
No. You could probably manage an auto harp, though, because you just press down the things and it makes a chord and you strum. Tuning those things is a bitch. Yeah. But easier than tuning a piano. For both reasons of number and you don't have to split the cents between them.
Sure.
Piano tuning is a huge science.
I will take your word on that.
Oh, I've gotten yelled at by piano tuners a lot. And by a lot, I mean it was one piano tuner and he yelled at me a lot.
Okay.
In my defense, I was about to kick his thing because it was on the stage where we were rehearsing. It was just like, here, I'm going to move this where I won't kick it, and then he yelled at me.
Well, you know. But yeah, no, I'm liking the fact that they're letting Nico in.
Yes.
And I'm
I'm so happy Nico
I'm very
is
excited to see
thing.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see where that goes. I'm also excited to see what happens with Nico and Greta and like how much more we get to see of Greta.
Gosh, yes. I want Greta to have more than 2 lines in an episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were complaining about how Mel was like this 2-dimensional man-hating lesbian. I'm like, at this point, Greta is extremely 2-dimensional because all she is super confident lesbian. That's it. Now, I like it. I definitely like it that this is the first only thing we see right now, but I cannot wait for her to get some dimension.
Yes. The difference between the 2 dimensions there is Mel being 2-dimensional
main character.
Yes,
I understand
and Greta
that.
Being 2-dimensional.
It was just one of my thoughts.
Yeah, she's
Greta.
absolutely 2-dimensional, but she's also not 2-dimensional in a negative way. She's 2-dimensional in a confident way.
Yeah, confident, happy.
Yeah, and so I think that also makes
hair.
a difference. Yeah. But I think that also makes a difference, is that while Greta is 2-dimensional in that she's Nico's fiance and doesn't talk a lot, but when she does, she's in your face about it. Like, she's 2-dimensional in a confident way as opposed to 2-dimensional in a rude, mean way.
So are we done?
Yeah, I think so. We have no sign off.